Ahoy! And welcome to the Boating Hour with Captain Rick. The Boating Hour brings you the latest and greatest essential information about everything that sails, floats, or motors upon the high seas of Southern California. From landlubbers to old salts, there'll be something for everyone. So climb aboard and get ready to sail with Captain Rick.
Ahoy out there and welcome to the Boating Hour. I'm Captain Rick, and I want to thank you for joining us here on AM 870. We're here every Saturday at 4 p.m., and please be sure to visit us on the web at theboatinghour.com. And now all over social media on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. Thanks to our sponsor for our show today. For a healthy gut, the best probiotic on the market, Livia One Probiotics, natural, organic, and allergen-free. I'm here in the studio sipping my morning coffee blitz. Thank you, Emily, from the Earth Bar at Equinox. That's a wonderful fitness center that I walk by and I look at the equipment. I don't think that counts as working out, but I love the Earth Bar. We have a special guest for you today. Cindy, welcome to the Boating Hour with Captain Rick. How are you doing today?
Well, Captain Rick, I'm under the weather, actually,
okay.
So I have a cold, so forgive me.
That's okay. You've been traveling. Yeah, well, you've been traveling, I know, and it's my friends and guests are not allowed to get sick, so you've broken rule number one of Captain Rick. But we got some exciting stuff. I really want to talk about your project, your background in boating as well. This is really exciting stuff, so I'll invite you back as well. But let's talk about your history in boating, in power boating and sailing, and then we'll talk about your project, which really needs a lot of coverage, and I really want to plug and promote your special project.
Great. Sounds good.
Let's talk about your history of boating. So you grew up with the family of, sailors or power boaters?
No, sailors. My dad started sailing, I think, in the 50s, and down the coast more towards King Harbor, because Marina del Rey wasn't established until 62. So he had a Thunderbird. I don't know if you know what that is, a little wooden boat, and was very influential in sailing in Hawaii. He actually did Transpac in 1969 with Tommy Shock, who's the Shock brothers from Santana boats.
Wow.
And
you did Transpac with Tommy Shock?
My dad did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Not me.
Okay, that is legendary.
Yeah, and some very other famous sailors were on there as well. But anyway, so we grew up at California Yacht Club in Marina del Rey. It was built in 1965, but we were over at the Marina del Rey Hotel temporarily while it was being built. So I remember it as a young child, and so basically my whole entire weekends and summers were all spent at the yacht club and sailing and going over to the island and going over to Hawaii as well. So that's kind of my background. And as I got got older, teenager, I started racing on Pendragon, and which is famous racing boat, and Christine, and boats like that. That had all did Transpac at one time.
Oh wow,
so that was me.
That's fantastic childhood. I might have waved at you going over to Catalina because I have a similar story. My dad, he actually built a boat. I've told this story before. He built a power boat, but he was a sailor. We had a lot of friends, and I would go to Marina del Rey when it was first opened. And the boat that he built was Carity for Carrie, Ricky, and Debbie, his three kids. And he built it. We had a 3-car garage where my dad built his house. But he didn't measure for putting the wheels back on. And he measured and he built this boat. And then when it was finally done and he put the trailer underneath and put the wheels on the trailer, we couldn't pull it out. And one of my earliest memories was having to prop up the garage and get construction. We got to get construction down there, and we had to redo the garage. That was a pretty funny thing. All the neighbors came by as we pulled this boat out. That was my first experience.
Oh,
I think that's kind of
great story.
Yeah, it's a funny story. And then, I would go sail with my dad. And I know Pendragon, wasn't that, did you ever sail with Mike Priest?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, Mike Priest is a legend in the business. I keep asking him to come on the show, but he's not shy around his friends. But a lot of legendary, iconic sailors came out of Cal Yacht Club. I've talked about Cal Yacht Club, its history, and the Hathaway family, and I've talked to a lot of different people, and I've helped some of the groups. I was just there recently on my show. They had the Scouts, the Sea Scouts. So they had their annual function. So I was there taking pictures, and it's up on my website. And I love Cal Yacht Club. It's an absolute wonderful place. Used to swim in the pool, and us little kids would get run around and then get thrown out.
Well, we never got thrown out.
You were probably well behaved. Well, let's talk about. We'll go back to your sailing history, and I know you're struggling, and I'm going to invite you back. But this is so time sensitive and so important. And by the way, today, as the show airs on Saturday, isn't this your birthday?
Saturday is, yeah.
Yeah, so this will be airing Saturday at 4:00.
We'll be on the boat.
Oh, okay.
We'll be in Malibu.
You'll be in Malibu on the boat. Well, happy birthday. Our good mutual friend from Marina Yacht Club, Giselle, told me it's your birthday. So happy birthday. You're not allowed to be sick on your birthday. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this project. You got featured in the Malibu Times this week, and it's a wonderful photo. Tell me about this project and what you're doing, because I think it's so important, so significant, and I really want to plug this because it's important what you're doing. Tell us about this.
So when the fires broke out, a friend of mine said, "Hey, we've got a Global Express that's going to go over. Can you help facilitate getting supplies?" And I'm in that. That's the industry I'm in. Is in the aviation travel industry. So I said, absolutely. So my first call was to my good friend Eden Alpert. Her dad's Herb Alpert. I grew up with her. So she got on board with me, and we rounded up an amazing team of women who just stopped everything they were doing. We realized how crucial it was and how the media was portraying, not really portraying the truth, per se.
Okay.
There was a lot of information that was not accurate, that was being, put on the airwaves. So we filled an entire aircraft within less than 48 hours, filled with clothes and animal food and medical supplies and essentials and baby food and baby formula and diapers, and the list is endless of all the things that we accumulated. You couldn't even walk. I don't know if you know the size of a Global Express, but I mean, it's a private jet, but it's one of the bigger private jets. And you could not even walk on it. It was just enough room for the pilots, and that was it.
Wow.
So it didn't stop there. We got a lot of media coverage actually at the FBO at Van Nuys. And so we just kept going. These group of amazing friends, and they called their friends, and they called their friends, and it's just been incredible, the outpour of donations and things like that. We were fortunate enough to, which a lot of people don't know or are not aware of, there is a king of Hawaii, and he is actually the king of all the islands. And we are in direct contact with him and his tribe and his people. And so not to put down the Red Cross or FEMA, but unfortunately, they're doing things that we don't agree with. People who are in dire need of supplies, especially the first few days, we're not receiving them. So we have people, friends on the island, and so all of our supplies were going directly to our friends who were dispersing them to the families in need. And instead of having these horrible, these people have to wait hour-long lines and only be given a few items. I know one of the tribe members went down to Red Cross and he was given 25 bottles of water. I mean, it's pathetic.
Wow. Well, that's
a travesty.
That's amazing that you're doing this. So, are you getting donations from stores? Are you getting financial donations where you're buying stuff? And plug the website or how people can find out about this.
Okay, so for instance, PetSmart gave us pallets of animal food.
Wow.
Yeah, like we have photographs as well, but and mostly it's all private donations. Right now, what they're in dire need of is oxygen, and even the canisters. They need porta potties. I know people are saying stop sending stuff, but that's not true. They still need all the essentials. They still need medical supplies. We've got Lisa Carrington, Russ's wife. I'm not sure if you know who she is. She just got us a ton of medical supplies that will be arriving tomorrow. So we still have, thank God for Federal Express, to be very honest with you. They are taking our stuff for free over there. We have a drop point in the valley, and it gets loaded onto the plane. And then we have a facility, a private facility in Maui that it goes to, they deliver to. And then our people on the ground in affiliation with the king and his tribe are dispersing all the supplies to the families in need that you just don't hear about and what's really going on over there. They need like Clorox and bleach and cleaning supplies and things like that because it's so toxic over there from the fires.
Wow. Well, you know, when you say there's a lot of stuff on the media that's not telling us everything that's out there, it's almost to the point when I hear something on the media, I automatically don't believe it. So we need to open up our media. I'd like to volunteer. If you ever need volunteers to load up supplies, you definitely give me a call. And before we end this show, I want you to plug, how do people find out if people want to donate their time or they want to donate money or supplies?
Well, so we have actually it's all word of mouth, but to be honest with you, but I can, I could give you, so the name of our organization, is Ohana for Maui.
Okay, Ohana for Maui.
Right, and number 4 for Maui. And, honestly, my head is a blank right now. I'm not sure what website we're using because it's just a group of girls. So I would have to say...
Well, contact Captain Rick, theboatinghour.com.
Yeah, that's why, you know what, that's the best way to do it. Just let's have people contact you. And if they want to make a donation, right now they're asking for cards, and monetary cards, like the Visa gift cards, things like that. And we do have a 501c, so people can get a write-off that Kelly Stone, who is the actress Sharon Stone's sister, has been very instrumental. And she's got a 501c, and she's been great. It's so amazing. And all these girls, Giselle, Giselle, arranged for a container, shipping container, and she's got her friend who's got a battleship over in Kolina that went over to Maui, filled with supplies. So everyone has just incredibly chipped in and just from all different angles and so none of our supplies at all go to FEMA or Red Cross. FEMA actually tried, I don't know if you're aware of this, tried to confiscate goods that were being sent over to the island. But
why would they do that? They wanted to control it. This is fantastic that the king is
trying to lay.
What are they trying to do?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying.
They're trying to lay law. We're not really sure what they're up to. We actually have letters from the king and from a lawyer, and the governor is allowing our shipments to go through without being stopped or confiscated.
Okay, well that's great
or seized.
Right? Yeah. Well,
it's not just confiscated. They're literally not even allowing them to go onto the island. So we've bypassed all that. So so thank God.
It's great that the king is involved, and this is going directly to the families. I mean, I can imagine just the things that we all use on a daily basis that we just take for granted, everybody needs to eat every morning. We got to make sure they don't get malaria. The medical supplies are very important. And if people get sick, like yourself, if you were there with no supplies and not adequate water and food, it would certainly, prolong it. God, this is so amazing. How did this all start? Just a couple of your friends were sitting down saying, we got to figure out how to get supplies to our friends in Hawaii?
No, I mean, because I'm in the aviation business.
Okay.
And have access to private jets and friends with private jets. So people have been donating their private jets, literally to go over to the island. It's incredible, the generosity and the selflessness of human beings. And we're fortunate enough to be surrounded by, people like that in my life. So it literally just started with a phone call. I received a phone call and I said, no problem, what do you need? I did the same thing in Malibu when the Malibu fires happened. They weren't allowing supplies to go up, and people, my dad always, we never went sailing, even a day sail, without canned food and a can opener and extra water and a change of clothes. He said, because you never know what's going to happen, and he was right. And so that's been instilled in my mind my whole entire life. I'm self-contained in my house for 30 days.
Okay.
Like I have enough supplies to live if something went wrong,
I am the same. I am the same because I'm part of the Coast Guard Auxiliary. We're the volunteer branch that assists the Coast Guard. And a lot of the things that they do is boater safety and information. But we also talk about being prepared for any kind of disasters. And the auxiliary is
exactly.
It's a group that is responding to almost every natural disaster there is, from Hurricane Katrina to local stuff. So I'm the same.
Right.
I think I could survive on my sailboat for a week and in my home for about a month as well. And
right. People don't understand that. Like, I have a generator. I have 8 cans of propane to run the generator. I have ammunition. I have, I've got pills that can, treat bad water. I mean, I just understand it's not an expensive endeavor to do this. I have tons of canned food and rice and beans, what every home should have, and water and medical supplies and animal food if you have animals. It's what does it cost? $1,000, a couple $1,000 to be self-contained, to have survive, to be able to survive.
Sometimes not even that. You can get a full supply.
Well, I'm talking about with a generator as
right.
well. I mean, a generator is $800. So
right. Yeah, that is important. I remember when we first were shut down in 2020, and everybody was rushing to the markets.
Oh, so just like they did the other day.
Well, I tell you something. I didn't go to a market for a month. I never saw the lines. Actually, I did. I volunteered. Ralph's Market was amazing because they allowed senior citizens or handicapped. You could call in an order and they would have the bag for you.
Right.
And you'd have to go. I would go at like 5:30 in the morning and I'd get, a bag and then, put it outside, a door of either a senior citizen. So they were very good. Yeah.
Great.
When everything was shut down, but I didn't experience anything. I think I only went with some of the fresh stuff that you need every week. But yeah, this is absolutely amazing. So let's talk about. You've done a Transpac before. You've sailed to Hawaii.
No, my father.
Oh, it was your
not
father.
Me, not
Okay.
me. Oh, I've done Transpac, but at the parties in Hawaii.
Oh, you've done the parties. I always threaten that I'm going to be.
Transpac I've done.
I may do that. The next Transpac, I'll be in Hawaii. I'll be at done the Ensenada, and that's a brutal. And
right.
I've done the bike race as well. But the Transpac in Hawaii, kind of the holy grail of sailing. And boy, I tell you, it's
on this coast, the Pan Am series, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's real fun. Anybody that does that, and I just went to. We had someone that tried to solo around the world, an incredible gentleman that, but his boat broke apart and he ended up in Chile. And we talked about him a little bit. Actually, I'm going to try to get him on the show. God, this is so fantastic. I really want to help you with this. And I'd like you to send me anything you can. I'll put it up on the website if I have people that contact. It's theboatinghour.com. Maybe we'll do a little segment. I'm just now learning about social media. I've avoided social media for I don't know how I avoided it, but I'm on, Instagram and YouTube and Facebook and Rumble, all the good stuff.
More than me.
Yeah, well, I'm just starting. This is brand new, and the goal of the Boating Hour is to promote the activities and the good things that are done, such as what you're doing. And I try real hard to promote the activities, especially the youth activities, up and down the coast and all the marinas and all the yacht clubs. I've talked about a lot of the yacht clubs, and one of the things I say, being a member of a yacht club, you have reciprocals, and I've said this many times. I've traveled all over the world. And as a photographer, I've been some places as well. You think we wouldn't be welcome, and they roll out the red carpet. It's absolutely fantastic. Sometimes the reciprocals, you go to a visiting yacht club, and they treat you like royalty, and you come back to your own yacht club, and they're like, yeah, we didn't miss you at all. So it's a lot of fun being part of the clubs. A lot of people don't know. You don't even need to have a boat to get your kids involved and to be at some of these clubs.
Of course not. No, absolutely. That's so true. And breaks my heart that Lahaina Yacht Club's somewhere I basically grew up in too.
Wow. So the Lahaina Yacht Club, is it gone, or are they going to be able to?
I believe it's gone. Yeah. Best hamburgers. It's just sad. The whole thing is just unbelievable. It's really unbelievable.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
How many families affected, do you know? I mean, it was a big...
Over 1,000.
Wow. And I guess...
I believe there's I think 1,000, still 850 people missing, but I believe 1,600 people are displaced.
Wow.
At this time.
And it just came...
Because a lot of the homes in that area, there's not just two people living in a home, it's an entire family. And these are working class people from, and that's the sad part. Like, they go to work, they come home, they're family oriented, and now they have nowhere to live, nothing, the clothes on their back, and it's awful. And then people are going in there. There's always bad, and offering them cents on the dollar to sell their land. And thank God they're not going to.
I hope they don't.
It's pathetic. No, they're not. It's pathetic what's going on.
Wow.
So.
Well, I really want to help. I'd like to.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I want to congratulate and really thank you and your friends that are doing this and spending so much time, effort, and energy and reaching out, and it really is important. I mean, just imagine some of these displaced people. Well, when you're it's the number one rule of Captain Rick. You broke it, Cindy. You're not. My friends and guests are not allowed to get sick, so you've broken my number one rule. And I wish you well, and I hope you get better. You're going to have to come back on the show and talk a little bit more about some of your sailing ventures and the people you've sailed with, and talk more about the yacht clubs and I really want to get a report, maybe come back on the show in not too far future and talk about the successes and some of the families that were helped. I'd like to hear more about this, and I'm definitely going to, put stuff up on the website and try to, get some volunteers for time, energy, and money. I'd like to do that as well. So this has been great. I'm glad you were able to.
Thank you.
Yeah, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for, suffering through. I know you're not feeling too well, and I hope you get better quickly.
Right. Thank you so much. And then there will be a benefit in Maui that the King is going to put on, and that should be October. We're all going to fly over, but in the meantime, I will send you everything.
Okay.
And then people who want to get in touch or help, they can reach out through you. That's probably the best bet. That'd be great.
Absolutely fantastic. I'd love to do that and like to support any endeavor that you're doing. This is really great. Well, that's all the time we have for today, and I hope you enjoyed our show. And we always are so very fortunate to have such wonderful and exciting guests, and really want to thank Cindy for struggling through and being my guest today. And let's not forget the Coasties, protecting our waters, America's lifesavers and guardians of the sea. Go to cgaux.org. That's the Coast Guard Auxiliary to find out more about boater safety information and classes and volunteer opportunities and the glorious history of the auxiliary who assists the Coast Guard. Remember, if you do it right and follow the guidelines and safety precautions, there's no place like being out in the water in the fresh air and sunshine in beautiful, sunny Southern California. Here at the Boating Hour with Captain Rick, We cover everything that sails, motors, and floats from San Diego to Santa Barbara. Thanks for being with us today. Please be sure to join us next week and every Saturday at 4 p.m. on AM 870. Thanks to our sponsor for the show today. For a healthy gut, Livia One Probiotics. Keep your emails coming. Find us on social media, The Boating Hour with Captain Rick. On the web at theboatinghour.com, and now on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. This is Captain Rick saying ahoy and fair winds to all.